Welcome to the Alcohol Reset, the podcast that helps you reset your habits, health, and relationship with alcohol without judgment or extremes. If you're looking to cut back, take a break, or just understand how drinking can affect your body and mind, you're in the right place. Each episode brings you science-backed insights on neuroscience, nutrition, and habit change to help you feel better, sleep deeper, and take control on your terms. I'm Mike Hardenbrook, best-selling author, neuroscience enthusiast, and habit change expert. I've helped thousands through my book and podcast to rethink their drinking, and now I'm here to help you do the same. Let's get started. If you're listening to this, you've likely felt it. The great shift, that very specific, relentless, glittering intensity of the holiday season has just ended. The travel logistics are done, or maybe just forgotten. That huge tangle of Christmas lights is finally packed away. The group chats that were buzzing with RSVPs and plans, they're silent. And for the first time in what feels like forever, you look at your calendar and you just see space. Glorious, empty space. And now that all of that momentum has come to a screeching halt, you're probably feeling something pretty specific. It might be relief. You know, that deep, immediate exhale. Or it might be a little bit of emptiness, a bit of listlessness. Or maybe, and this is the most interesting one, it's a sudden, sharp, almost uncomfortable clarity. That shift, the one that happens when the music stops, that's what we are drilling down into today. Because when the intense social calendar, the travel, the emotional obligations, and just the sheer momentum of December all stack up, they create this very specific kind of internal noise. And when that noise finally vanishes, what's left behind? That residue, that quiet moment, is where the real information about your physical and mental state has been hiding. Our goal here is really simple. We're going to explore what truly shifts in your body, in your brain, and in your habits when the high-pressure season is over. We're framing this moment, this sudden quiet, as maybe the most crucial data point of the entire year. Why? Because when life slows down like this, your fundamental patterns around stress, sleep, energy, and yet consumption, they become undeniable. But look, we are not here for judgment. And we're definitely not here to talk about resolutions or discipline. This entire investigation is purely about noticing what the quiet reveals. Okay, so let's start with the physiological reality, because your body was doing some serious heavy lifting all season. For weeks, you were running on something scientists call allostatic load, a fancy term, but it basically means the cumulative wear and tear in your body that's caused by chronic stress, whether that's lack of sleep, poor diet, or just, constantly being on. You were running on constant stimulation, this low-grade hum of anticipation or logistics, and this keeps your primary stress hormone, cortisol, elevated. Your system was essentially running a high-stakes emergency protocol, ready for the next late night, the next unexpected thing. But the fascinating thing happens when those demands just evaporate, almost overnight. The fire alarm just shuts off. Your nervous system finally gets the green light to take a pause. And when that high level of cortisol suddenly drops, it doesn't just transition smoothly to zero. There's a concept called hormonal inertia. Basically, when your central nervous system has been in overdrive, the sudden lack of demand can cause this brief but pretty dramatic overcorrection. For some people, that sudden drop feels instantly calming, like finally sinking into a comfortable bed after a really long journey. But for others, that hormonal shift shows up as just profound fatigue, maybe some brain fog, or even this strange emotional rawness. You might feel low or unusually tearful for no apparent reason that first week of January. That's just your system, which was using that high cortisol to mask underlying exhaustion, finally powering down. And this dip, this feeling, is proof that your recovery is starting. And the physical signs are undeniable. They are metrics your body is giving you. Take sleep, for instance. You might not just sleep longer now, but you might notice your quality of sleep improves dramatically. We often see something called REM rebound after periods of intense stress and alcohol consumption. You're finally getting the deep restorative sleep you were deprived of in December. And think about your digestion. Weeks of grazing, rich foods, irregular eating, that puts a serious strain on the gut. When you return to your routine, the stabilization you feel, less bloating, smoother energy, that is a direct metric of the tax you are paying, that persistent mental fog that had been clouding your focus. When it finally lifts, it tells you exactly what kind of systemic load your body was fighting off. This contrast, this feeling of physical clarity, is a crucial feedback. Okay, so if the physical exhaustion tells one story, our habits, especially around stimulation, tell an equally important one. Let's look at alcohol. During the busy season, it gets this kind of social camouflage. It's the default setting for parties, for meeting family, for wrapping presents. There's a celebratory justification just built into the atmosphere, right? The expectation is external. But once the season is over, that powerful social cover is instantly gone. Drinking becomes optional again. And that makes your truly personal relationship with it significantly easier to see. You might notice a few things. First, maybe a genuine lack of desire to drink at all. The why behind having that glass is no longer being dictated by a room full of people. Second, you might find you have a lot more sensitivity when you do decide to have a drink. Maybe the same amount hits you harder, or the morning after feels significantly rougher. This moment reveals a powerful internal question that was just impossible to hear amid all the noise. Am I doing this out of habit, or do I actually need this right now? And this is the moment where awareness, just simple awareness, becomes your guide. And there's very distinct physiological reason why that post-holiday drink might feel heavier, or why your recovery might be dragging. It's the science of recalibration. After periods of increased stress, poor sleep, and increased drinking, your body is operating at a functional deficit. And beyond the obvious stuff, like needing better hydration and more sleep, your system is often depleted of some really crucial micronutrients. Specifically, your body has likely burned through a huge amount of B vitamins, which are critical for energy production in the brain. You're also probably low on essential antioxidant reserves. These reserves are what your liver uses to manage the metabolic load of everything you consumed. When they're low, everything just feels harder, heavier, slow. So if you're looking to support this recalibration, understanding these specific depletions gives you some targeted tools. For example, vitamin B1, often in the form of benfotiamine, is absolutely crucial. It's not just a basic vitamin, it supports brain energy and mental clarity directly, especially when you're recovering. Another powerful compound is N-acetyl L-cysteine, or NAC. What's fascinating about NAC is that it's a precursor to glutathione, your body's master antioxidant. Replenishing this system helps your liver process that backlog and helps your entire system get back to baseline faster. Now, obviously, supportive nutrition, good sleep, gentle movement, those are fundamental, of course. But sometimes, when you know exactly what your system is depleted of, you can accelerate that process. And that's precisely the gap we aim to fill with Cloud9's Daily Restore. It's formulated to provide that targeted recovery support ingredients like benfotiamine and NAC to help your system catch up. Think of it as supplying the exact tools your body is asking for right now. It's not a magic fix or some restrictive resolution. Okay, let's turn to the final piece of the puzzle here. Emotional surfacing. This is often the trickiest shift of all. When you are constantly busy, you are in momentum. You're managing logistics, social scripts, other people's needs, and your own internal emotional landscape. It's often successfully suppressed, just bottled up by the sheer demand of being less. Without that constant distraction, without the need to manage social interaction, underlying feelings finally have the space to come to the surface. For some, this means a deep, lovely, peaceful calm, a sense of being grounded. But for others, the emotions that were successfully buried, maybe stress about money, unresolved family tensions, or just simple exhaustion, they suddenly get a lot louder. And it's so easy to view this emotional emergence as a problem. We think, the stress is over, so why do I still feel off? But it's absolutely vital to reframe this. This emotional clarity is pure, unfiltered information. It's your system communicating the backlog it needs to process. It's not a setback. It's a diagnostic report. So what is this specific quiet moment asking of you? It is not asking you to implement a strict diet or create some huge, complicated workout schedule or to slap a label on yourself for your habits. This moment, echoing the philosophy in my book, No Willpower Required, is simply asking for deep, pressure-free reflection. Take the physiological data you've just noticed, the changes in your sleep, the clarity of your mind, the shifts in your habits, and apply it to 3 core questions. These are designed to give you actionable clarity, not obligation. First, what felt genuinely good during the holidays? And think less about the big events and more about the small moments. Was it the quiet hour before everyone woke up? Was it that dedicated time you spent reading? Pinpoint the moments your nervous system felt truly settled. Second, what didn't feel good? And can you trace it back to a specific physiological consequence? Was it the late nights that resulted in that crash around 3 p.m.? Was it a certain obligation that caused your digestion to flare up? Where did the friction live? And question 3, what do you want more of now that the season's noise has quieted down? Use the path of least resistance here. If you noticed your sleep quality rebounded dramatically because you stopped having wine at dinner, well, how can you engineer your evening to preserve that? What feels easier to sustain now that all that external pressure is gone? The beauty of answering these questions is that the insights don't need to lead to these massive, overwhelming resolutions. They simply reveal the path of least effort toward feeling better. The end of the holidays is not an empty space on the calendar, it is a profound revelation. What changed in your physical self, that drop in cortisol, the improvement in your sleep, that is crucial feedback. And what you notice about your habits when the social camouflage is gone is even more valuable. Use this quiet as your absolute guide. Awareness, not obligation, is the only true requirement for moving forward. Focus on gaining clarity on what your body is telling you, rather than succumbing to the traditional pressure of January discipline. You already have all the data you need to find that path of least resistance to feeling better. You just needed the quiet to finally hear it. That's a wrap for today's episode. If you got something out of this, do me a quick favor, leave a rating and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. It helps keep the show going and would mean the world to me. Got ideas, comments, or questions? Shoot me an email at mike@trycloud9.com. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're looking for extra support, check out Cloud9, makers of Daily Restore, a once-a-day supplement to support your body from alcohol's effects, and Rise and Unwind AM/PM, a 24-hour combo to curb cravings, balance mood, and improve sleep when taking a break. Go to trycloud9.com and use the code PODCAST to save 15% on your next order. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.